All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. There is a new Black Square out today, so we're checking this bad boy out. Video, 12 minutes here. I got the audio. Last time I forgot to put in the audio. Sorry about that. I hope you guys enjoyed that last one. We're going to do another one. This one, let's see. I think it's about tablet interface fuel and electrical systems. So let's see what it's all about and check it out.
Hello everyone and welcome
I am very interested in this. Usually when they come out with 2 or 3 videos, that means the aircraft should be out in a couple more days, probably by the weekend.
to another technical overview
If I
video
had
of Black Square
if I had to take a guess, it would probably come out tomorrow or maybe sometime next week on Thursday.
Starship.
It's a beautiful aircraft though. Look at this thing, man.
Let's start by looking at the tablet interface, our window into all the systems in the aircraft. It can be
This tablet looks just like the Duke.
dragged around the cabin and popped out of the screen so you can put it on a physical tablet you might have on your desk or perhaps somewhere in VR. On the options page, we can set persistent options that will be saved between sessions.
It's nice. It's very similar. All these different options here. Show, Copilot inside. I never liked that one though, but it's nice to have.
Includes instant beta on touchdown, which is an option you might find useful if
Oh, that's pretty nice, instant beta. But I mean, I prefer to just set your controls to do it. You know what I mean?
you're using hardware without a beta detent. You can also have the wheel chocks and covers
That is a nice feature if you don't have the stuff to use though.
deployed when you load the aircraft.
Okay, that's nice.
Next up, we have the payload page.
Wow.
Here we can adjust payloads and select exterior features on the aircraft like the gear downlock pins and the ground power unit.
Wow, they're still using tablet for that. That's cool. I like it.
On this page, we can see that each wing has 2 fuel tanks. The forward main tank and its included hopper tank are
I just saw that it says here, look, empty weight 9,955, max takeoff weight 14,900, and useful load is 4,954. Gross weight is 13,490. Fuel on board 477 gallons or 3,195 pounds. Interesting. And this says 5.3 hours of flight time and range of 1,510 nautical miles.
main tank and its included hopper tank are
That's pretty good for this. It's like pretty much along the lines of a CR, well, a Cessna Citation CJ4 or CJ3.
located in the triangular root section of the wing. The aft tank is located underneath the engine nacelle towards the back of the wing. The aft tank will gravity feed forward when the aircraft is level, but not completely. There's a jet pump in the aft tank, which is a type of fuel pump with no moving parts that will pull fuel from the aft tank into the forward tank through the hopper tank.
That's pretty nice.
Whenever the engine's mechanical pump is sucking up fuel. In the
I don't know what he just said.
cockpit, we have 2 displays with bar graphs and numbers that show us the total amount of fuel in each fuel system in pounds.
That's pretty cool. So that's in pounds. Okay.
When we push the aft quantity button, the bar graph is truncated to show us only the amount of fuel in the aft tank.
Oh, that's pretty cool. It's just a little feature to show how much fuel you have on the back and front tank. That's nice.
Should one of those jet pumps fail or an engine shut down, fuel will no longer transfer completely from the aft tank to the forward tank. But there's no direct indication of this in the cockpit. This could lead to an engine shutdown while we're looking at the total amount of fuel in the system. If we see lots of fuel in the aft tank that's not being consumed, we should switch on the standby fuel pump to try to give motive flow to that jet pump and move the fuel forward. If that doesn't work, we'll be stuck with unusable fuel in the aft tank that moves our center of gravity rearwards as we continue to fly, meaning that we should select an airport for landing sooner rather than later.
That's pretty cool to you can know that, right? I mean, I didn't know that. So you have to be careful with this, otherwise you're going to be rear heavy, which is not good.
As usual, all the
Hmm.
possible failures we've talked about so far are possible in a Black Square aircraft.
God, I cannot wait to get my hands on this thing.
Before we move on from the payload page, you can also see that the gross weight of the aircraft can be shown in yellow in addition to white and red. Yellow means that we're above the maximum landing weight for the aircraft, and we have to burn more fuel before we can safely touch down on its landing gear.
Oh, that's cool. So it will actually let you know the gross weight when you take off, that you are not able to land until it's in the white. If it's in the yellow, you have to burn off some more fuel before landing. That is super cool. I do love that feature because otherwise you have to know by just flying the aircraft and reading the manual. But this actually gives an indication so that you don't. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a nice feature. Nice little touch.
Next up are the engine visualizers. These should look very familiar from other Black Square turbine aircraft, except these Pratt & Whitney PT6 engines have over twice the horsepower of the turbine Duke, with 1,200 horsepower each.
Jeez, that's incredible, right?
At the top of the screen, we can see the fuel system we were just talking about.
Ah, you know what? I wonder if they're going to come out with 2 or 3 different variants for the engine and then sell it to us in a package like they did before with the Duke. Ah, I'm curious.
With the primary jet pump from the fuel tank, the electric standby pump,
What do you
a
guys
fuel
think? Let me know in
filter,
the comments.
and the mechanical engine-driven pump, all of which lead to the fuel control unit.
That's cool.
As we power up the engines, we'll see fuel flow to the primary and secondary injectors, and oil circulate through these lines and change color with its temperature and viscosity.
Hmm.
Every piece of equipment shown on this page can fail, and will indicate in red when it does so. Keep an eye on your inertial separator position and watch the amount and type of FOD you're sucking into the engines. For more
That is pretty cool.
details about Black Square's turbine engine simulation, I encourage you to check out the engine startup video for the turbine Duke. I've made even more improvements to my turbine engine simulation by working with PT6 operators, which makes Starship my best turboprop simulation by far.
That means they might update the Duke, boys.
Next is the cabin visualizer. We'll have to come back to this one in the future because there's a lot more going on here than just the temperature and pressurization of the cabin. We can see there are 3 compartments here, and only the bottom one is what you feel sitting in the cabin. The middle compartment is what all those screens feel behind the instrument panel. And the forward compartment is what the equipment that drives those screens feels in the avionics bay, above the forward wing actuator in the nose of the aircraft.
Man, this is pretty complex for just a simple aircraft, right? I'm telling you, it's more along
Keeping
the
the
lines.
avionics
It's more along the lines of a private jet.
cool is essential to ensuring the longevity of the equipment in your Starship. It's largely a
Starship, I cannot wait.
manual effort that requires some intuition, so that will be in another video.
Hmm.
All the way to the right is the failures page, which works the same as in other Black Square aircraft, except this one has over 230 possible failures.
Wow, 230 failures? That's incredible.
This includes all the electrical systems,
Let's hope this plane isn't a failure, right?
catastrophic engine failures, and everything in between, like propeller governors, clogged filters, and stuck bleed air valves.
It's nice.
In a Black Square aircraft, almost everything can fail, so it keeps you on your toes and solving problems, just like in the real aircraft. By default, the failure system is in mean time between failure mode, meaning that each piece of equipment has a period of hours in which it's likely to fail. This approximation is good enough for NASA to estimate equipment failure on spacecraft. If you want an extra
Wow, that's pretty crazy, right?
challenge, you can move the slider at the top of the page to increase the global failure rate. You can also select scheduled failure mode to specify time windows for individual failures to test your skills with specific scenarios. Finally, we have the live electrical schematic.
Now, you see, this is what you would call a study level aircraft because you can actually use it to do failures and real world flying with the failures and then troubleshooting and everything else. So that is quite interesting. Now, for me personally, all these features are great, but I don't want nothing to fail because I barely even know how to fly the thing.
Page. This should look familiar to King Air pilots because it uses the same triple-fed bus layout. When we turn on the battery master switch, it pulls down the battery bus tie and battery relay, connecting the battery power to the center bus and the triple-fed buses only. The triple-fed bus can be powered by the battery or either generator bus via diodes. Diodes only allow electrical current to flow in one direction, the
I mean, this is insane amount of detail, right?
direction of the arrow in the diode symbol. 3 buses can power the triple-fed bus, but not the other way around.
Hmm.
The left and right generator buses are isolated from the center bus via the generator bus ties. These are normally open with only battery power, which leaves the majority of our heavy load equipment without power. This means that when we start up the aircraft, we have the minimum load on the battery that's required.
This
And if
is
there's
incredible,
an engine
right?
failure, we have automatic load shedding, meaning that we can extend the life of our battery until a safe landing. In order to power all of the equipment on the aircraft while sitting on the ground, we have to close the generator bus ties. This can be done by bringing a generator online, connecting the aircraft to external power, or moving the bus tie switch to the manually closed position. It will spring back to center, but the bus ties are now being held closed, powering all 5 electrical buses. We can hold them open again and isolate the buses at any time during the flight by moving the switch to the open position. To get a better feeling
I wonder what that does though. Like, what is that for?
for the bus layout, we can monitor the voltages at each of these buses on the tablet interface or on the voltmeter in the cockpit. Underneath the voltmeter is a row of radio buttons that allow us to select each bus for display. We can see that the battery and the center bus have the same exact voltage because they're directly connected. But the triple-fed bus is around 0.8 volts below the center bus. Now that doesn't mean there's anything wrong.
How many times did he say bus?
That's just because there's a voltage drop anytime we pass through a diode. Below the main bus layout, we have the
I'm on a diet. Oh, I mean diet.
avionics buses.
This is beautiful though. I mean, really, really in detail. Like, they do a fantastic job. Probably one of the best developers, Black Square. Black Square with Just Flight is always amazing, but Black Square is really the ones who push it home with these aircrafts.
Unfortunately, there isn't enough room on this page to show the hundreds of electrical circuits that are simulated in this aircraft. So instead, we have just the avionics. They're spread out all over the buses in this aircraft to ensure some level of redundancy no matter what's being powered. There are also 2 standby batteries in this aircraft. One is for the last resort standby instruments in the center of the panel. This can be switched on at any time, and the white indicator lamp will illuminate when they're being powered by only the standby battery. There's also a standby battery for the ICAS, which is this screen here, and all of the avionics that drive it. This will give you engine instrumentation and, more importantly, the crew alerting system. When the main buses are powered, these batteries will be recharged.
That is cool. So it's like 2 backup batteries for any kind of failure in the main battery, basically, is what he's saying. I'm understanding. So like if we have some kind of issue with our main battery, we have 2 backup batteries to get us down to the ground.
You can learn about all of the acronyms for these avionics like ICAS, SDU, ALI, and CHP in the manual that comes with your Black Square Starship. There's
Man,
one
I want to
page
read it.
out
This
of
is
200
awesome.
dedicated just to learning the avionics acronyms.
Jeez.
On this page, we can see also a few circuit breakers out of the hundreds that are located somewhere around the cockpit of this aircraft.
Whoa.
These circuit breakers are all simulated, by which I don't just mean you can click on them. They're all slow blow thermal circuit breakers, which are activated by junction temperature. This means that when a system fails in this aircraft, it doesn't just pop the circuit breaker. It lies in wait for the next time that you use that system, and only then will the circuit breaker trip. You might not even notice a failure for several flights, since the failures are saved between sessions. You might be able
That is incredible. Imagine.
to reset a circuit breaker, but it will probably heat up and trip again, so you'll have to troubleshoot. Speaking of troubleshooting, this aircraft has another method of diagnosing failures apart from the tablet interface. If we power up the rest of the avionics, we'll see on the multifunction display there's an avionics status screen. This shows us any fault codes from the LRUs, or line replaceable units, located throughout the aircraft and in the nose avionics bay. These might be telling us that the equipment has overheated, a circuit board has failed, or that a circuit breaker has tripped, and all we have to do is find it. I hope this
Man, that is incredible, right?
gives you some idea of the complexity that's simulated inside this passion project. I truly believe it to be the most complex general aviation aircraft ever for Microsoft Flight Simulator, a title that I'm still hesitant to use, but I only hope to surpass with my future aircraft. In the
That is
meantime,
incredible.
I hope that you'll learn all of the remarkably unique systems that made Starship so far ahead of its time. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.
Dude, that is absolutely incredible if you think about it, right? I mean, this guy really took his time, and you know, most of us are just gonna fly this thing. But if you're looking for one plane, and you want somewhere to go with this plane, this is the thing. This is the kind of plane you want, okay? This is study level type stuff. You can spend hours just learning about this plane and flying it and really jump inside it and get deep in it, you know what I mean? Hopefully it continues to work. I have to update my Dukes. I have the Dukes. I love them. They are amazing aircrafts. Unfortunately, they do not work yet in 2024, which is slightly disappointing, but usually when they update these aircrafts, they update the Dukes, and then they should start working in our new simulator. And I hope so, because they're just as good as this plane, if not about on the same level, except for this guy said this one's like 10 times better than the Duke as far as system depth. But the system depth of the Duke was super good. So usually what they do is they come out with something like this, and then they will update the Duke. The Duke is an absolutely amazing aircraft, though. If you never tried it, try it if you're into that. That is also a twin-engine aircraft with similar systems like this, or a tablet, and you know, it's a little bit less like, this is a whole different level, guys. This is like a step up from the Duke, but the Duke is awesome aircraft, dude. I freaking love the Duke. I would love to do, like, when I get some more time in my life, I'm gonna do some more flying with the Duke for sure. But anyway, I thought we watched that together. I really enjoyed that video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.